the Kingdom of Aksum, a name that doesn't always appear in the same breath as ancient Egypt, Rome, or Persia, but one that deserves to. For nearly 1,000 years, Aksum stood as one of the great civilizations of the ancient world. It controlled trade routes across the Red Sea, minted its own coins, built remarkable monuments, and played a key role in the spread of Christianity. Today, it is remembered as the ancient empire that laid the foundations of Ethiopia. So, what exactly was the Kingdom of Aksum? How did it rise, flourish, and decline? And why does it remain such a central part of Ethiopian identity today? Let's explore the story of Ethiopia's ancient empire. The Kingdom of Aksum began to emerge around the 1st century CE in what is now northern Ethiopia and Eritrea. Its heartland lay in the city of Aksum, a place that would later lend its name to the whole kingdom. At the time, this region was perfectly positioned between Africa and Arabia, right along the trade routes that linked the Mediterranean world, India, and the interior of Africa. From the beginning, Aksum's power was tied to trade. Merchants carried gold, ivory, and exotic animals from Africa's interior through Aksumite markets. In exchange, Aksum imported luxury goods such as silk, spices, and wine. Its access to the Red Sea ports of Adulis and Massawa meant that Aksum was not only a regional power, but also a key player in international commerce. One of the clearest signs of Aksum's sophistication was its coinage. The Aksumites were among the first African civilizations to mint their own coins, starting around the 3rd century CE. These coins were made of gold, silver, and bronze, and they often depicted the reigning king, sometimes accompanied by a cross after Christianity took hold. The coins were not only practical for trade, but also a symbol of prestige, showing that Aksum was equal to other great empires of its time. Monuments also reveal the grandeur of the kingdom. The Aksumites are best known for their towering stelae, or obelisks, carved from single pieces of stone. Some of these stood over 30 meters tall, decorated with intricate carvings that resemble multi-story palaces with doors and windows. These stelae were erected as grave markers for kings and nobles, representing both political power and spiritual authority. Even today, the ruins of these monuments in Aksum remain some of the most striking archaeological sites in Africa. At its height, Aksum's influence extended far beyond its borders. It controlled parts of modern Eritrea, northern Ethiopia, Djibouti, and even Yemen across the Red Sea. By the 4th century CE, Aksum was considered one of the great powers of the world, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. This recognition came not only from its military strength and trade networks, but also from its cultural and religious developments. One of the most significant moments in Aksumite history came during the reign of King Ezana in the 4th century. Under his rule, Aksum officially adopted Christianity, making it one of the first great empires to do so. According to tradition, this was thanks to the influence of a Syrian Christian missionary named Frumentius, who converted Ezana and helped establish the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. This decision permanently shaped Ethiopia's identity. Christianity became deeply rooted in Ethiopian culture, surviving even through later challenges such as Islamic expansion and colonial pressures. But Aksum's story was not only about religion. Its kings were also ambitious military leaders. King Ezana himself waged campaigns against neighboring peoples, including the Nubians and various Arabian groups. These conquests strengthened Aksum's position and expanded its influence, making it a regional superpower. However, like all empires, Aksum eventually faced decline. From the 7th century onward, a combination of factors weakened its power. One major challenge came with the rise of Islam and the Arab conquests, which shifted Red Sea trade routes and cut Aksum off from many of its international connections. At the same time, environmental pressures such as soil erosion and deforestation may have reduced agricultural productivity in the Aksumite heartland. Gradually, the kingdom's power diminished, and by the 10th century, Aksum was no longer the empire it once had been. Yet, even in decline, Aksum left a legacy that endured. Its Christian heritage continued to shape Ethiopia, influencing its art, literature, and political structures. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, founded in the time of Ezana, remains one of the oldest Christian institutions in the world. The legends of the Aksumite kings also became tied to Ethiopia's national myths, particularly the story of the Ark of the Covenant. According to Ethiopian tradition, the Ark was brought to Aksum by Menelik I, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Today, the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Aksum is said to house the Ark, though it is not accessible to the public. The idea of Aksum as a sacred center of Ethiopian identity has carried through centuries, inspiring later rulers who trace their lineage back to its kings. When Ethiopia resisted colonization in the 19th and 20th centuries, it was partly because of this strong sense of historical continuity, stretching all the way back to the Aksumite era. In the modern world, Aksum remains both a physical and symbolic landmark. Its archaeological sites are recognized by UNESCO as World Heritage, and its history is taught as a foundational chapter of Ethiopian identity. For Ethiopians, Aksum is more than just ruins. It is a reminder of a time when their land stood at the crossroads of civilizations, shaping both Africa and the wider world. So, why does the Kingdom of Aksum matter today? Because it shows us that Africa has always been home to powerful civilizations with global influence. It challenges outdated stereotypes about the continent's past, highlighting instead a story of innovation, trade, and cultural achievement. It also explains much of Ethiopia's resilience and pride as a nation that has always stood apart, maintaining its independence and identity through centuries of change. The Kingdom of Aksum may no longer exist, but its legacy endures. From the towering stele still standing in northern Ethiopia, to the traditions of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, to the pride of a nation that remembers its ancient empire, Aksum remains alive in history and memory. And that is the story of the Kingdom of Aksum, Ethiopia's ancient empire. Thanks for watching. Have you ever visited Ethiopia?